Like, does he know what I did yesterday for me? Right? A lot of you might feel that way very often when it comes to prayer. Here's what Jesus says. When you pray to God, it's like you're talking to your dad. Now, I don't know what your relationship with your dad was like. I hope it's a good relationship, right? It depends. It's a mixed bag. No dad is perfect anyway, even if you had a good dad. But Jesus wants us to think of God in some sense as our Father. I'm writing a J for Jesus. Again, this whole thing about multitasking. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. All right. But the first thing he says is our Father in heaven, right? So this is intimate. This is close. This is personal. If you look at religions around the world, if you look at different religions throughout history, it's like people did not call Zeus their father, right? Like there's, if you look at the many gods of Hinduism, like none of them are, you don't see them as a father, right? You don't talk to him. It's not like that personal. It's not a loving relationship like that. That's a very Judeo-Christian idea, right? It's kind of radical. It's kind of shocking, right? To call God our Father, like as if he cares about me. He like actually loves me and he provides for me and he wants good things for me, right? And I might not always like what he has to say, right? But at the end of the day, I know he loves me and he's got my best interest at heart, right? Even if we human fathers don't always show that perfectly, God, our Father in heaven, he's also God, so he's not like a human father. He's a lot better, a lot more consistent at that. He always has your back. He always wants what's best for you, and he knows what's best for you, right? So if our Father, but I'm not talking to my earthly dad. I'm talking to our Father in heaven, right? So there is that other side of the coin. To remember that this is who I'm talking to. I'm talking about the God who created everything. Our Father in heaven, right? So there's this intimacy. He wants closeness with me. He wants us to be together. He wants us to have a conversation. He wants me to know that he loves me. Again, you notice how I keep saying me? That's just unintentional. That's just my American culture coming through. I should be saying our, right? It's us, right? But like, he wants us to see the relationship that way. And at the same time, this is not a contradiction. It's not an either or, it's a both and. He also is the God who created everything, who is sovereign, who has standards of right and wrong, who cares about justice, right? Who cares about right and wrong, who cares about good and evil. And we need to remember that. We need to remember who we're talking to here. That we do have that intimacy with him, and he also is way above us. And although he wants us to talk to him, we really don't deserve that privilege. It is a privilege, and we don't really deserve it. But he gives it to us anyway. He wants us to approach him. He wants us to talk to him. So that's the first line is let's start with who we're addressing here. Remember who you're talking to, our Father in heaven. Now, what's the next line? Anybody? Hallowed be thy name, right? I know just like for some of you, reading it without the these and thous is already an experience, right? Because that's kind of what we're used to, right? But the next line, so here's what's interesting. So we don't know exactly what language Jesus was speaking when he said these words for the first time. It's possible he was speaking Greek. It's likely he was speaking Aramaic. The way Matthew records it, Matthew wrote his gospel in Greek. And in the Greek, the way this is phrased, so we often think of like, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Like we kind of lump those two together, right? Then we say, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We kind of lump those together. Actually, the way this is written down, there are things connected, but not quite that way, not the way we're used to. It's first of all, our Father in heaven, and then it's, your name be hallowed, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as in heaven. Those three, your name be hallowed, your kingdom come, your will be done, those all are lumped together, right? Just the way the Greek grammar is set up, they have like the same word order. It's very beautiful, actually, the way it's laid out in the Greek. They have like the same word order. They're meant to be taken as 3 units, 3 requests all together, and then on earth as in heaven kind of applies to all 3 of them, right? So let's take them one at a time. So, our Father in heaven, your name be hallowed, right? Now, what does hallowed mean?